Hey everyone, it's Gina from orchidandopal.com. I am back with a tutorial for my Spellbound earrings. These came from the contents of the brand new September Eureka Crystal Beads collection called Plot Twist that I unboxed earlier this month. And I'm just holding a pair in a totally different colorway to give you an idea of what these could look like if you chose to use other colors maybe from your stash. Today we're going to of course be using the colors that came in Plot Twist, which were really beautiful neutrals, the browns and creams and antique brass. And I will have the link for the collection down below in the description box, as well as the full list of materials and links to all those items at Eureka down there too. But today, as you can see, we're going to be using a number of items like the pinch beads, an 8mm Chaton, you'll need one of those per earring. We're also going to be using the size 11.0 Miyuki seed beads, some size 8 TOHOs, some size 15.0 Miyukis, and let's see, the earring findings, of course. So to get started, if you want to gather up your materials, you can do that. I'll be using a size 11 beading needle today and some 6-pound 0.006 inch diameter Fireline. That's my go-to beading thread. And by the way, I just wanted to show you a peek of a coordinating bracelet and pendant necklace that I will be coming back with very soon that coordinate beautifully with the earrings. So we're gonna make one earring together, and then you can go ahead and back up the video to make the other one to complete your set. Go ahead and thread your beading needle with your comfortable length of beading thread, and we will jump into this tutorial. The first step in making these earrings is to complete a square stitch seed bead bezel using the size 11.0 and 15.0 Miyuki seed beads around the 8mm Chaton. And I have actually done a video just on that step alone, so if you just go a little bit back a few days ago, you can find that 8mm square stitch tutorial. I'll also link to that because I'll show you how I'm doing that, but I'm going to go probably faster than I normally would, especially if you're newer to a square stitch bezel. But that is going to be what we need to do first as our foundation for this earring. We're going to start that out with 18 of our size 11 seed beads that are going to wrap around the side of the Chaton, and it's going to have 2 rows of that around the side. And if you just continue completing the steps to encase that Chaton according to that tutorial, you'll be all set. Then we'll come back and encase more beads around these beautiful earrings like you see with the pinch beads, 8/0s, and so forth. So let's go ahead and complete our square stitch bezel, and then we'll go from there. All right, so first we'll pick up our 18 11/0s. Double check that you have a total of 18 and then pull those down and leave yourself a tail thread. I'm going to sew back up through that first bead to bring these into a loop. Then I'm going to continue the square stitch with another seed bead going around the one we're coming out of. I'm just holding this with my thumb and my forefinger. If you want to use a stop bead, feel free to do that. Going up through the new seed bead, pulling tight, and down through the 3 on the left, through the one on the right, and down through 3 on the left. We're going to keep doing this all the way around till we've got another complete row in square stitch. And as I'm doing this, I'm going to speed this step along, and we'll meet back at the beginning of the row. Now let's join these rows together. I just have one more bead to go. I'll do that first. So down through those two plus the one at the beginning, still hanging on to my tail thread. I'll get rid of that in just a moment. Up through that bead there. Now we have our rows connected. Just go up through a couple of those 11 O's. And right here, this is where we're going to complete another round of square stitch. This time we'll bring in our 15 O's and start to make that a little bit smaller so we can encase our crystal. I'm also going to weave in my tail thread just to get rid of it for the tutorial. So let me do that and I'll meet you right back. All right, so now I'm going in with my 15 O's. And just like we did before, going down that new one on the right, up through the two on the left, plus one more. I'm just going in this direction. It's more comfortable for me. Got my new 15-0 going down through the next, up through the two next to those, plus one more. And pull tight after each addition. If it's a little loose now, that's okay, because we're going to tighten this up as we go. All right, I'm just going to speed up the process as I finish our new row of 15 O's around the bezel. All right, you guys, how's your bezel coming along? Hopefully it looks something like this. And I'm gonna tighten up that row of 15 O's, going around that at least twice. Going through all those little beads, making sure we don't miss any, and really tightening this up into its own circular shape that's gonna frame out the front of that 8mm Chaton so beautifully. So that's one, and I'm gonna go around again, like I said. Going through as many beads as I can at the same time, whatever my needle and thread will allow today. Sometimes I'm more fortunate with that than others. I think we can all relate. All right, going a little past where we started there. and giving it one final good pull there at the top. And now I'm just stepping down through my beadwork to get my needle in position to where it's coming out of an 11-0 on the back of our bezel. There we go. And we can bring in our beautifully sparkling crystal stone and place that inside our bezel, face down, taking a moment to get that in place to where it is centered. And take a look at the front and make sure you're happy with how that looks. Just in general. All right. And now we're gonna keep working on this bezel, doing another round of square stitch using our 15-0s. And I'm gonna speed it up and we'll meet back after that. All right, so satisfying to get to this part when it is in place and you know the crystal is not going to fall out or anything. Also, you may note there's a little scratch back there in the enamel. That's because I've been working with the same Chaton multiple times, which I don't normally do, and I wouldn't really suggest using that if you can help it, but no one's going to notice really looking through that. It's such a tiny stone, but of course everything's so close up in the video. I did want to acknowledge that, but typically that's not an issue. The backs are actually pretty strong. But anyway, I've gone through the 15-0s back there one more time and have already tightened those up a little bit. I didn't pull them super tight yet because we have that one more step to go where we're going to add in some 11-0s, one 11-0 around every 3 15-0s. That way we can cover up the pointed back a little bit. And again, I showed you how to do that in the 8mm Chaton square stitch tutorial. But let's go ahead and do that together. Bringing back some of my 11-0s. All right, so I'm coming out of that one there. I'm going to pick up a new 11-0. And I'm going to go through that group of 3. Then I'm going to sew down through the new 11-0. Give it a little turn. Pick up a new 11-0. And sew through the next 3 15-0s that we haven't gone through yet. I'm going to sew back down through the new 11-0. Turn. Picking up a new 11-0. So we're just repeating this all the way around. And do this 3 more times after this so that we have 6 11-0s in place. I think it finishes up the back nicely. There's 4. And we have one more 11-0 to go, and you should have 3 more 15-0s left that we haven't gone through. There we go. So all 6 of those 11-0s are in place. I'm going to go down through the 11-0 like we do, and I'm going to go around all 6 of those multiple times to tighten up that section around the back. You might go through just one at a time as you do that and pull tight after each bead that you go through to keep the back very uniform. And once you're satisfied with that, we're going to be stepping down to our bottommost row of 11-O's that's around the side of the crystal. So coming out of this 11-O, I'm gonna go up through, my needle wants to go up through those two 15-O's, which is fine. I'm just making sure my crystal's still centered, looks good. And I'm gonna see where my thread matches up. I'm gonna go back down through that 11-O there. At the bottom of our bezel on the side, that's where we want to be coming out, just one of those as we complete our next step. And right now I'm going to get the pinch beads, and you'll also need some of your 11-O's. So let's go get those and then we'll continue on. First, what we want to do is pick up one of our pinch beads and then sew back through the 3 11-O's in that same row that are in front of where your thread's coming out, and pull that and help that pinch bead set into place. You'll see a little bit of thread right now. Again, this will settle as we go. Right now we're just getting those beads in place. Now we're going to sew through the next 3 seed beads on the same row and pull. Pick up another pinch bead and then sew through the 3 11-O's that are in front of where your thread is currently coming out. And if you want, you can switch to a size 12 beading needle here to make it a little easier on yourself to get through this bezel. Again, helping the bead just set into place along the side. And then proceed through your next 3 11-O's. And we're going to repeat that 4 more times. Got 2 left to go. And going through those remaining 3 seed beads. That's where we'll add in our last pinch bead. Sewing back through those. And pulling tight. Just trying to space those pinch beads relatively evenly around the side. So you have this little flower-like shape now around your bezel. So with my thread coming out of that 11-O down there right underneath this pinch bead, I'm gonna sew through the pinch bead that's on top of it. pull tight. And in between each pinch bead, we're going to add in an 8/0. So we'll pick one up and sew through the next pinch bead. Repeating that 5 more times. And pulling tight after each addition. And then continue on through your next 8/0 once you complete that row. So go through the first one again, pull everything tight. And then we're going to bring back our 11/0 and 15/0 seed beads. But already, isn't that cute? That component you could actually use in a variety of different ways. And this is a component we're going to be using on the pendant necklace. So if you'd like to make that in the upcoming tutorial, you already know how to make the small component now. Let me get my seed beads and then we'll keep going. All right, with our thread coming out of that 8/0, I'm going to pick up an 11/0 and then 6 15s. And then one more 11/0. Skip the pinch bead that comes next and sew directly through the next 11/0. Continue sewing through the next pinch bead. And continue sewing around through the next 8/0, pinch bead, and the next 8/0, so that you're now coming out of the opposite side, and we're gonna complete another little section with our seed beads again. So here, coming out of this 11/0, now what we'll call the bottom, let's pick up an 11/0, 6 15/0s, and an 11/0, and sew through the next 8/0, just like that. Continue sewing around the pinch beads and the 8/0s on the side. And then proceed through the next 11/0 and the next 3 15s. Pull tight. Pick up a new 11/0. And then sew through the next 3 15/0s, the next 11/0, and then continue sewing through the beads around the side until you get to that next seed bead section. Pull this tight, of course. And just like we did, we're going to sew through the 11/0. Then we're going to sew through 3 15/0s. Pick up a new 11/0, sew through the next 3 15/0s, the 11/0, and pull that tight, by the way. Make sure it's sitting like that so it makes a little peak there at the bottom. And now all we need to do is keep sewing around the beads on the side until we get to our seed bead section. And we're going to sew up through those 3 15/0s as well. That new 11/0 that we placed that's at the top. Pull tight. And there is where we can add a few more beads just to embellish the top of our earring. And you can do that in a number of different ways, but to do it like I did on this first one, what we'll do is pick up 2 of our 11/0s. And then sew through that same 11/0 that we're coming out of and pull those in place. Sew up through the next 11/0. Then pick up an 8/0 and a pinch bead, followed by 6 of your 15-ohs. So once those are on your needle, just pull them down. And then you can skip through or skip all those 15-ohs and just sew through the pinch bead, and also sew through the 8-oh. And when you pull that, you can see the 6 seed beads sit in 2 rows of 3. Pull that nice and tight down to your other 11-oh seed beads, and then sew through the next 11-oh, back through the 11-oh at the peak, and then sew through all those beads again that we just added in this section to reinforce. And just because I'm going to go around those 6 seed beads again separately one more time, because that's where our earring finding is going to be placed, so I just want to make sure that's extra reinforced. And go down through the pinch bead, the 8-oh. This time I'll go down through the 11-oh on the left there, and I'll sew through that next 11-oh. Continue sewing through the 3 15-ohs, the 11-oh, and my needle wants to come out of that 8-oh down there, and pull this tight. I'm gonna make a 1/2-inch knot at this point, going underneath the thread bridge that's in between the 8-oh and the pinch bead there, making a loop, sewing through the loop and pulling. I'll go through a couple more beads. And I'll make another knot right there. I'm gonna sew through the 11-oh, the 3 15-ohs down there at the bottom. I'll skip the 11-oh so we can keep that at the peak. Then sew through the next 3 15-ohs, the 11, through a few more beads, pull tight, and I'm going to do one more 1/2-inch knot there, and sew through a couple more beads. At this point, we can trim off our excess. So now we're ready to add in our earring finding, and that collection happened to come with 2 pairs of beautiful antique brass ear wires. We can just open up that loop a little bit with some pliers. Just gonna twist that open. And then bring that through those seed beads, making sure you do that the right way, and closing that finding back up into its original loop carefully. Straightening that back up. And there we have our Spellbound earrings. They are complete. I hope you enjoyed this project. As a reminder, you can find the link to the full collection right down below the video at Eureka Crystal Beads. It's got everything you need to make a pair of these earrings, plus so much more inside. And here's that green colorway brought back just to give you some more inspiration and to show you how really cool these can look in another colorway. But they have so many different options for seed beads, crystals, and everything you need on their website. So check out their shop. And also feel free to leave me a comment down below. I always love to hear from you. I'd love to hear if you gave these earrings a try. Let me know how it went. Feel free to give the video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe while you're here if you haven't already, because like I said, I'll be coming back with that bracelet tutorial to come, as well as the pendant necklace, and these all coordinate. You can make yourself an entire set based on that beautiful neutral and fall-like plot twist collection. So thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope to see you all again real soon. And until next time, have a fabulous rest of your day. And as always, happy beading.